to Machtails from the Cantina Live, episode number 87, the Rebel Scum Con 2026 recap show.
You Rebel Scum.
On tonight's show producer and brother Rich Brindle is here for a cheer and a beer.
Jedi business, go back to your drinks.
Show producer, archaeologist, and historian Matthew Rooney will be here as usual. Good friends from across the pond, Fantha Tracks, will be joining us.
Don't get excited.
Skywalking through Neverland. And Star Wars Josh.
What's up, guys? Good to see ya.
I have friends everywhere.
Who are you?
I am your show host, Cris Macht, and also the documentarian that brought you The Force Among Us, The Force Within Us, The Walkers Among Us, and the real fans of the saga.
All right, boys, keep tight now.
Sit back, crack open a cold one, smoke if you got 'em.
Better than cracking hookers.
And we are live inside the Wampa Cave. Let the tomfoolery and hijinks begin. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. Hey, we got a community-driven show today. A lot of friends joining us to share the Rebel Scum Con experience. I want to let you guys know that you can join Patreon for free by using this little QR code in the top left corner. Now, this is not just joining for free. This is getting paid Patreon content for free. There's a big difference there. Because if you join for free, you don't get access to it. Why am I giving the show away for free? Because after doing this for all these years, we want the community to grow. But the good thing is that the community is a very small, intimate, tight-knit community that we seem to still keep the riffraff and the toxicity out of it, which, as you know, can be a little bit of a challenge for some of the bigger shows out there. Hopefully not all of them. Drinking word of the day. It is Friday, and if it was Monday, we'd still be doing a drinking word. It is scum, so drink responsibly. Every time I say and you hear the word scum, I do want to thank my show producer, Matthew Rooney, for putting together this bonus episode for you guys today. What I mean by bonus is, you guys know we have the quota to fill. The promise to you is one live show a month, and this is our second show for August. So he did the scheduling, he lined it up, he said, hey, we should do a Rebel Scum recap show, let's do it in August, since it just happened. We are knee deep into the weeds with content here. We have so much content, and by the way, we have so much content, and I need to remind you guys too, especially for you guys that are joining the show for the first time. It is 1,872 posts on Patreon. There's an extra E there because I was just so excited about the fact that there's that many Patreon posts. So thank you to all the producers, including the newest producer. Kyle Burris from Indy has just joined the show as a producer. I could not do it without you guys. I say that all the time. Again, I always say that this is the garage band of Star Wars content creating, because we just turn it up to 11 and go. I have zero audio experience. I barely have any film experience, even though I've made 4 different film projects. And we are able to capture so many great moments on this show and keep it passionate and intimate, because one, unfortunately, we're not doing this full time, so we get behind quite easily, and 2, because the show is not super big, we can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. It looks like there's a link that might not work for the guests tonight. Matthew's behind the board. There's a link to share. You might have to go to the main page, share the link, go to invite somebody to the show. Let me know if you have any trouble with that as I hold down the fort. Everybody's late. Why is everybody late? Because it's Friday? And because the link is wrong, of course. So we're going to work on getting our friends from the UK that link. And while we're working on the technical difficulty, see, that's an example. We're the garage. That kind of shit isn't going to happen on Star Wars Explained, ladies and gentlemen. They run a tight ship. We just plug it in. Maybe we're not in tune. And we come together and produce this content for you guys. So, Rich Brendel is asking, what's going on? You know what? I gotta get, we're having problems with the link and we're live. Matthew, if you can go to the main page, back up and go to the main page and share the link. He's on it. He's on it. Okay. Please bear with us. God, I kind of set us up for failure tonight. Well, you know what? I'm proving that we are the garage band of Star Wars content here. Okay. Matthew, can you get Rich Brendel his link? Okay. Rich Brendel, a cheer and a fucking beer. Here we go. And for those of you guys that are joining in for the first time tonight, there was that disclaimer for a reason. Foul language, drinking, maybe some of us are smoking, that sort of thing. Don't forget the word of the show. Drinking word of the show is scum. And the cheer and a beer segment is when my show producer, Rich Brendel, raises his glass and raises his glass to the cause that he chooses of his liking. Rich, happy Friday. Welcome to the show.
Me. So I have tonight at Anchor Check. This is a cucumber lager. It's from Appleton Beer Company, which is where, we all did some trivia there. It was a lot
and that is where the Mile of Music, that's a venue for the Mile of Music.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we'll raise a glass here to unexpected difficulties and
and getting through them.
It all, right? Cheers.
Cheers, man. I feel like we need some background music. It's like a moment of silence when you drink that beer. Rich, I do, producer Cody Moore is chiming in. Says, cheers. Thank you for watching. Cody, thank you for producing the show. Rich, what was your biggest takeaway from Rebel Scum? This was your first one. This is the Rebel Scum recap show.
Yeah.
What was your big takeaway from it?
It was awesome. Felt like a family reunion, seeing people I hadn't seen in years, like Mark Newbold and like James Burns and stuff, and just old friends hanging out together. That was the best part.
Yeah, it's all about the family, right? And that's a nice family photo. That belongs on a Christmas card there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I think meeting everybody is definitely one of the things that, really binds it all together, right? It really is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, like, the one downfall, it was a little small for the size. Like, Saturday was nuts.
The venue was small for the size, yes.
Yeah. Looking forward, and hopefully next year, they're saying they're going to try to get, like, the Irving Center, which is where Fan Days 4 was.
Yeah, I believe somebody was telling me that where they're moving it to, I believe it's that center. It looks like the building's shaped like a sand crawler.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I'm
so how
super
fitting is that?
Excited about that. Yeah. I mean, it felt like Fan Days. It really did. And
Yeah, you know what? I went to Fan Days once, 2010. It was a good time.
yeah,
I just remember Fan Days being so small, and this Rebel Scum is just packed.
yeah,
It's small, but it's so many people in one area, you know?
yeah.
So
And it was nice. It was nice having it connected to the hotel. So if things got a little bit overwhelming, you can always retreat to the hotel lobby or something and take a little break from the noise out there. So,
yes, that is
really,
a huge plus.
it was really well done though, and just loved it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, when it grows. As we've always seen so many conventions go through this phase. Hey, did you get a new haircut?
I just cut my hair the other day.
It looks good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I cut it short. I always do that, but yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, happy Friday. Have a great weekend. I raised my glass to technical difficulties, and I hope I don't have to raise my glass to them again.
All right.
All right. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Take care. All right, our friends from across the pond. It's getting late over there, so without further ado, the Fantha Track gang here, Matt and Mark. Welcome to the show, guys.
Evening.
This is your first time on the show, even though, and we've been doing this show for so long, even though you've been supporting the show. I know every time we've done something special, you guys have always posted about it for us. You guys have been friends for a long, long time. I need to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show tonight. But what was your takeaway from Rebel Scum? And did you guys come over here just for that?
Go on, Matt.
Yeah, we came just for Rebel Scum Con. We've been invited the last couple of years, and they kept saying, "Got to come." And like last year, we spent all the money on Japan, so this year we're like, "Right, we'll do it this." And just loved it. Lovely event. Good seeing friends like yourselves and the other guys we've not seen in years. We've been doing this far too blooming long, and we're still loving it. And it was a lovely convention. Really good people, good friendly atmosphere. Yes, the building was a bit tight in places, a few bottlenecks, but I didn't mind that. We've done shows all over the world that are way busier. Oh, yeah, we did Six Flags as well.
We did.
Mark and I decided to do that new stupid Tormentor roller coaster.
Tormentor, yeah.
Was that your first time at Six Flags?
Yeah.
Oh,
DJ Elliott took us. Yeah. It ain't no Disneyland, but it was great fun. It was a lovely day.
Thumbs up on Six Flags. Well, I haven't been there. Yeah. I haven't been there in a long, long time. Now, okay, so you guys, it's funny. A lot of people, I got to bring this up because you guys scored this for me. So, Star Wars Fan Fun Day in the UK. You guys scored me this really cool and rare Morgullet autograph, and everybody does a triple look at this, and they're like, "Where the hell did you get that?" And I said, "You guys it scored it for me." That's a convention that I always want to go to, and I know it's only just one day. And Mark, if I'm not mistaken, I think you're the only one that has video with one of my all-time dream actors. He's on my bucket list. I'm not quitting Machtails until I have him on the show, but Duncan Powell. You interviewed him at Star Wars Fan Days, who obviously played.
We filmed him.
Yeah. Good little interview with him.
How would you compare that convention to Rebel Scum Con? Is there a big difference between the fans in the UK and, say, the fans in the US? And what is that difference?
The thing with the Star Wars Fan Fun Day, it's a very family-focused show. You can get really close to the guests, which is very similar to Rebel Scum Con. So it gives you the opportunity to really get to sort of chat to people, meet people, and have that sort of casual moment that you don't get at a lot of other shows. I mean, Fan Fun Day's been going, wow. I mean, we've been going, me and Matt, because we were Jedi News before, so we were going back 10, 12 years, and it had been going a few years then. It's similar, it's similar in that way. Rebel Scum Con's much bigger in terms of size, in terms of the room they've got. Star Wars Fan Fun is held at a football club. Used to be at Burnley, now it's at Blackburn, both championship clubs. and so it's a good venue. But ScumCon has got the edge in that sense. It's a better venue, and obviously if it moves to where it might do to where Fandays 4 was, that's an even better venue. But they've got the same sort of heart and vibe, I would say. Very fan focused, very family focused, but completely got Star Wars at the heart of it. So they're similar in those ways. And Chris, you totally need to come over.
Yeah, I would love to. I think if that thing was 3 full days, I would probably make an effort to go just for that. But I think right now what I have to do is I have to plan a trip with my family to go over there, and I can time it, with that happening. Now, Matt, you were sharing some really cool, crazy photos with me at this booth at Eve. You were showing me all these cool filming location photos. Do you guys have a place where you share your experience going to these filming locations?
I share it on Instagram currently. If you look on the Fantha Tracks Instagram page, the top 3 pin posts are some of the locations myself and a couple of other guys have done so far. Instagram's got a bit wonky. You used to be able to click on a hashtag, which we called Fantha Treks, and you used to be able to click on that and see all of them. And it's a bit broken, and that's not us. That's Instagram changing their algorithms and ways. But you can see a lot of the locations I've done. I've hooked up with some other guys like James Floyd and the Walowskis, and done a lot with Gus Lopez in the last couple of years. Mark's joined me on some. Just got the hook of it probably about 10, 12 years ago. Brian and I went to Skellig Michael, where they filmed Force Awakens and Luke stuff on the island.
Yeah, with the poor island.
Yeah. Puffin Island, mad place.
Puffin Island, yes.
Did that, did a couple of other locations and thought, I enjoy this. And I've been all over the world doing stupid filming locations. A couple of years ago, 4 of us decided to go to the Alps and go and do where the train heist happened in the Dolomites in Solo. And that was just mental. That was just daft. But we hired the helicopter from the company who used the helicopters in the film to fly up and around a mountain for half an hour and get the perfect shots of matching the train heist where the train blows up on the monorail thing.
That's awesome. Dude, when you go over there, an old friend of mine, you guys probably know, Mark Dramol, he was the one that got me to Tunisia and Norway. This is going years back now. It feels like yesterday, but it was a long time ago. Do you have like groups of people go with you? Is it organized where, like what if I want to go on a filming location tour with you? Can you make that happen?
Yeah, we can make it happen. We're working on things and different ideas. There's, I think, 10 of us going to Tunisia later this year.
At least, yeah.
It was for Brian's the third Fantha leg. Brian, we were meant to go for his 40th birthday, but that happened. Was meant to
during
happen in
COVID.
2020. It was meant to happen in 2020, and we've just not got around to it since. So Gus Lopez is taking a bucket load of us out there, and we're going to do all the Tunisia stuff finally.
Oh, you did not. You never did the Tunisia stuff before.
Not in 2020. It wasn't a good idea for some reason.
No, but even back in the day.
No.
Okay, never managed to do it. Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember there in the hallway where it was mostly crowded, in the hallway at Rebel Scum Con, there was a guy that had really beautiful photographs of the Lars homestead.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, what is this about? He goes, well, I took the photos. I'm selling them. I'm a photographer. And I said, when did you do this? He goes, I did it like in January. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, what's the condition of it right now? Obviously Mark went out there. Before Mark went out there, it looked like this.
Yep.
And when the photographer had his photos on display, it did not look like it did when Mark fixed it up in 2012. He said the back side of it seems to be on the rough side, but the front of it looks nice. I said, well, you have a photo of the Mos Espa set there, I said, what is that like nowadays? Did that hold up? He goes, that's still held up. He goes, but the problem is when you go there, there's so many third world tour
vendors.
The vendors, yeah. The vendors are there. The people that live there are set up, and they're permanently set up. So I guess it's kind of like just walking through Watto's shop to some degree.
Yeah. Don't eat any chulpas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get in a fight with Saboba, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of our team, Rich Hutchinson, went out last year and said very similar to us that you get hassled a lot by the locals trying to sell you stuff for, to us, not a lot of money, but to them, a heck of a lot of money. So,
yes. Yeah, when we were out there, and I was out there in Tunisia 2005, so that was not, in a big picture, that's not really that far from when they had last used it as a filming location.
Yeah.
You know? And the locals came out of their tents and the huts, and they had some really, really cool items. We bought pieces of the crate dragon bone for peanuts, but to them, they're probably still living on the money,
Yeah.
So Fantha Tracks on Instagram is where people can see all these really, really cool photos that you shared with me on your filming location. So
most of them. We've not shared them all yet. We've got a secret project we're working on for later this year, and you'll find out when.
Oh, you got a secret project you're working on?
Secret. Shh. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Shh.
Yeah.
You told the loudest guy. You told the wrong guy with the loudest voice. There's a secret.
Nah. Your secret store, you are, dude.
So I gotta get out there to Star Wars fan days, fan fun days. Do you guys have anything? One of the coolest things that I love going out to the UK is looking for Star Wars items that I cannot find here. Do you guys have anything to share with us on the show tonight?
There's a great event in the Midlands, south of Birmingham, called Echo Base, Echo Live. It's probably the biggest sort of collectibles event happening in Europe right now. They hold it twice a year, so it's sort of usually February, March time, October time, the back end of the year. It's insane. They hold it in a shopping centre, a disused shop in a shopping centre, and it moves around the location. It's been in the same one for a couple of 3 years now. And hundreds, if not thousands, come to it. And you'll find all sorts of stuff there. I mean, Matt mentioned Gus Lopez. Gus comes over for this show, and you'll see early bird sets on the wall. You'll see Palatoy Death Stars. You'll see, you name it. It's there. It's unreal. And it's in a shopping centre. It's the most innocuous looking thing. And yet people from certainly all around the UK and Europe, because they hold a European version of the event as well. I think in Sweden, if I'm remembering correctly, and they'll come over. People will come over from all over the place, and yeah, it's crazy.
So, Mark, how is your collection? Do you have an extensive vintage collection?
Yeah, I mean, I've focused on vintage as for the toy part. I mean, my collection's all sorts of everything. I've got bits of everything. So, but the vintage part, yeah, there's always bits missing. I've got all the figures, but I'm sort of working through some of the older sets. But I'm not too far away now. Yeah, you just get that nostalgic kick from finding an old piece. And Echo is the place to look. I mean, I'm looking behind you there, Chris. I can see the stuff behind you. But looking around Echo, you'll see all of that and just insane stuff. So another show. I mean, we're lucky in the UK because a lot of the actors live here, so we see the actors on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know, I do a bit of stage hosting, so they've got a show called Festival of the Force. You know, which was a couple of weeks. Actually, it was the weekend before Rebel Scum Con, and so we had a load of great guests at that, and we see these folks a lot. But we're lucky because we've got these. Well, we've got a lot of locations now because obviously, Star Wars is made in the UK for the most part now. Yeah, so we've got locations that get used around the country. So yeah, we're fortunate. You could go out most weekends. You could go out and do a show in the UK now.
It's funny. You just kind of commenting back on what you said. I've every time I talk to somebody from the UK, it quickly reminds me that that's really the birthplace of Star Wars. I mean, all the actors are over there. Most of them, they filmed it there. It's such a huge connection. It's probably more of a connection to you guys than it is us in a way.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one because, like you say, in '76 they all decamped over here because the prices were so good and the tax breaks were good and all of that. And Lucas obviously didn't want to use too many familiar faces, so you've got all these theatre-trained British actors who could pick it up really quickly. So that worked well for us, and that started a bit of a renaissance for British film in being able to, shoot and host major motion pictures, which led to, Alien and Superman and all the stuff that we had back in the day.
Yeah.
Then Maggie kind of shot us in the foot, so that didn't work out so well for quite a long time. And then it's kind of come back now in the sort of the modern era, the Disney era, with Pinewood being expanded so much, and other places, Long Cross and places like that. We've got more capacity now for making these films, and we've got world-class crews and world-class teams to do all the various aspects. So yeah, I suppose as a British Star Wars fan, I can't speak for Matt, but I'm sure he thinks the same. That we kind of feel like, okay, George created Star Wars. The influences are very much an American influence and very much Eastern influences, and the whole magpie thing that George did when he just pulled all these influences together and made it into Star Wars. But the actual making of Star Wars, the OT certainly, not so much the prequels, although Phantom was made here at Leavesden, but it was kind of made in the UK. So it's definitely a dual, at the very least, it's a dual project. So it's nice that we can, both sides of the Atlantic can quite rightly have a sense of ownership over Star Wars, which is great.
See, now, I'm looking at Matt right in the Star Wars jacket there. Now, I got to tell you, it's funny. This is what I learned going to Tunisia. You got to line up the shots, and that's exactly what you're doing in this photo, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how, you take the still from the movie and you take the still of you on location. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, you are standing in that spot. Now, some people, I don't know, if I see other film location photos, like maybe from a movie that I don't care about, I don't get all warm and fuzzy and giddy, but I see Star Wars, I'm like, oh my God, you were there. I see that tree to the left. I see that brick to the right.
That was a drone shot, this one. The dam from Andor Season 1 from the heist. And my really good friend of mine worked on this, and he sent me photos from this, but not the. I've never seen the drone shot before. Oh, it's amazing.
Now the drone shot is that your own drone?
No, I don't. I'm used to controlling the Gus and our friend Paul McHugh, who's a big location hunter, one of the Fantha crew. They both went up there, and I can't remember who took this shot, but Paul or Gus took this. And we were literally stood right in the middle, right in the bottom of the middle there, on top of the dam. We were stood there, flying drones up and down and doing like cool videos and stuff. And just a phenomenal place. Just one of the most amazing places in the world. And I've done 30 or 40, maybe 50 different locations now. And this is still one of my top 5 favorites. It's just mind-blowing, beautiful place. It's a hydrodram, one of the first hydrodrams in the country, I think. And it's run by a company called Drax. Sounds like a Bond villain. But yeah,
Drax.
Sounds like a Bond bad guy company. But in Scotland, you've got the right to roam, so you can walk anywhere in Scotland you want. There's a road up here, but it's locked off at gates on the way up, and you can only go up there if you're part of the company. You've got access to go up there and check the water and check the dam and all the rest of it. But they took a whole crew up there. 2 of our team, Darth Elvis and Brian, went up there while they were filming it and got photos of bits of the dam and props and stuff. Secret, there were speeder bikes up there, old school speeder bikes, but they were never seen in the show. And they took stuff up there, and all the aerials and pylons and stuff they sort of attached to the dam and stuff, and the little gun turret and stuff were up there when they went up. So we went up afterwards. But yeah, just an amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Well, hey guys, thanks for sharing the stories, and thanks for sharing your takeaway with Rebel Scum. I would love to talk to you guys more on a future episode about the filming locations. Funny thing is that I went into production on The Force Among Us 3, and originally I wanted to make a documentary on filming locations for the third one. Yeah. But I'm like, that's going to cost me a shit ton of money, But talking to you, I'm like, man, is it too late? I don't think so.
It's doable.
Do it.
There's loads you can do, dude. There's plenty in America you can do without even coming to the UK. There's plenty of US locations that are not so more cost effective for you to do.
There's plenty in Death Valley, so just alone.
I think because I've been to Northern California, I've been to Death Valley, and I know that, I think because it's not in my backyard, it's more enticing to me. Like, I got to get there no matter what it takes, kind of thing, got to make the journey and the pilgrimage. So, all right, so Fantha Tracks on Instagram, and then I'm assuming also
Facebook,
on YouTube.
website, everywhere. Yeah, Fantha Tracks are everywhere.
Everywhere, man.
All the
Fantha
social
Tracks.
medias.
MySpace,
MySpace, Bebo, the whole lot. Yeah, we've got it all.
Single file to hide your numbers too?
That's us.
Yeah.
That's us.
Oh, yeah. We all have behind me and Brian. We hope behind Mark, he's the tallest one.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining the show, man. It was a long time overdue. We'll see you guys next time.
Brilliant.
Pleasure,
Thank you.
Take care, man. Have a great weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Unbelievable. Our next guest is, I don't want to keep him waiting, Richard.
Hey.
How are you, man? Always welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me once again. And speaking of
always
locations, I walked in the Death Star Trench location. Right where they shot the Death Star Trench for Star Wars. I walked in that parking lot over at the old ILM building in Van Nuys, California.
Wow,
Okay.
you have photos of that, I'm sure.
I do not.
Oh.
It was one of those things where the gate of this new business that's like a window treatment place that took over the building, and they have got gates. So the gates opened up, a car came out, I went running in there just so I can run around. It's like, okay, I know I've been there, and took off before the gates could close back up again.
And when was this?
This afternoon? No, it was like maybe like a year ago. Over at some Valentine Ave in Van Nuys, right in the valley. And I knew exactly where they shot the Death Star, the plates and the explosion scenes. And you see, if you look at any of the ILM pictures, behind the scenes pictures of the camera in the back of a pickup truck as they're igniting and detonating explosives along the Death Star trench. Like, okay, I know that was right over here, so I would run around that area, just so I knew I was right there. So I could say, I was right where they shot the Death Star scenes.
Well, obviously, you talked to a lot of ILM people, and a lot of those stories were from there.
Oh yeah.
From that area. So it's funny. It's different than it's weird. That was where they shot that, right? And it's different than when they shoot something that's more nature based, where you're lining up rocks and you're lining up trees. But where you're like, this is where this happened.
It's exactly where this happened. Right in that building is where they designed all the ships and built the models, and where George Lucas was yelling at John Dykstra, and John Dykstra was yelling at George Lucas. Everyone was diving in on their slip and slides, just trying to get a little bit of water, some hydration during those summer months. That building was like all metal, which means it's an oven.
Yeah.
In the valley, when it gets like 110 degrees outside,
it's 150 inside.
It's like 250 inside. I've worked in those kind of shops before, and it's, oh my, you got to wear a bathing suit. You're just dripping with sweat the whole day.
So that explains why I usually see some ILM guys with just shorts on and their shirts off.
Yes. And they're also thin too.
Yes.
They just lose. Well, it was the 70s. They all were also so skinny back then. And they were all just so hot. Even the women were wearing like bikinis, which, not a bad thing.
It's funny because you would never see that in a work environment today.
Yeah, and these were all like kids out of college. Like, how do I dress for a work day? Just cut off jeans and a tank top or just a bra. That's okay. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
I've never been on the workforce before.
Show up in your bikini, guys. Show up with your shirts off, and everybody's gonna work late, and we'll see what happens later.
It's kind of thing where you don't even leave you can leave to go home, take a shower, come right back again. It's one of those, you're always on the clock. Just whatever you can do. Let's get this shot done. And these kids are like, hey, what is this science fiction movie? And I'm liking these designs. And what's this land speeder and X-wing? These look great. I want to spend my time here.
Well, it was pretty cool because I feel like, as you know, from talking to the people that worked for ILM and, the documentaries, that was a family. You know what I mean? I mean, they've spent so much time together. They spent so much time growing and learning and raising the bar together. And her last name escapes me, but Rose, the female that was at Rebel Scum Con, she was Rose told me about she was the one that brought in the daycare center to ILM. Because she's like, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm going to have a kid. I can't work. And George is like, you know what? Why don't you bring a daycare in so we can have everybody here, almost like a commune, if you will. But it worked. It worked magic, too. I want to give a shout out to Brian Klein. Producer Brian Klein is tuning in tonight. Hey, this day in Star Wars history, man. What do we got? What do we got? You got the book handy, or you got it in the memory banks?
I got it all memorized.
You know what? We need to just we need to say every time you come on, we're gonna do the skit, the bit.
I should know this. I should know this by being on your show so many times. I should know to be ready. And believe me, I am ready. I'm very well informed of this while I talk very slowly. And well, you know what? It was on this date, August the 21st, 2015. That Kylo Ren appears on the cover of Entertainment Weekly.
Okay, so that would be like the teaser.
Yeah. Yep. They were teasing the fall and winter films, and Kylo Ren makes the cover of Entertainment Weekly as the spokesman for the fourth quarter films being released. And you know what? That's the only thing that happened on this day in Star Wars history.
Okay, so let me ask you a question here about the Star Wars history. Okay, that's the only thing that happened, but it was something that happened, right? Is there any day that nothing did happen?
No. Even leap year. The Phantom Menace novelizations came out with all the 4 different covers. Even leap year.
That's amazing. That is amazing. All right, so next time you come on, we're gonna be ready. We're gonna this day in Star Wars history. You're gonna do it without me even asking what they. But let me ask you another question. How many days are, excluding leap year, 365 days where there's only one thing that happened? What's the percentage of that?
I would say like 10%.
10%. Okay.
Yeah, like there's a high amount of stuff that happened on one thing that only happened in Star Wars history on that one particular day.
That's amazing, that though something. Now, did you? And I might have asked you this years ago when you were on the show, but did you get stumped trying to find the one thing that happened on one day?
Yeah, that leap year information was buried deep. And it's like, oh no, I can't like not have leap year, because someone's gonna say, well, you have every day but leap year. So I knew I had to have that.
Yeah.
So I took me a little while to find that one. And
yeah,
even
it makes sense that leap year would be elusive. It's kind of like it's almost like Camino, right? It's like it's not on the planetary map in your brain because it happens every so often,
Yeah, and there were a lot of stuff that I had to dig through and go, wait a minute, there's something here, but I only see it listed like one place as a small mention. But if I go into that, like let's say C-3PO appeared on this one show or as a little tiny cameo, it's like, okay, that's worthy of being noted, but it's not really mentioned anywhere else. So I would reach out to Anthony Daniels on social media and say, hey, odd question, but did you appear on the Brady Bunch back in 1971? But it wasn't that one, but it's something very odd, and I knew that would get his interest. He'd come back and it's like, yeah, that was me on such and such a variety show, and no one's ever asked me that before. Like, oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of that kind of small nugget of information that you don't find anywhere else but today in Star Wars history.
I would say, I see you as a historian to a degree, because you've done the research on what happened every 360. That's it. That's a historian. I do you call yourself that? Has anybody else referred to you as that?
You know what? I do call myself a historian now because you're right. I've done so much work and digging deep. It's not surface level, but there's like thousands of entries in today in Star Wars history, and each one I would say I spent hours on. Even something and sometimes I'll spend an hour on something and I'll have to exclude it for one reason or another. Like May 25th, big day, May 25th. There's so much going on. It's like, oh, I know I spent 2 hours doing research on this, but when it comes down to putting the book together, I can only fit this much onto a page or this much onto a certain section, so I can't use this. So it'll be like for the special edition or the revision of the book at some point.
Yeah, and you know what? Definitely a historian versus an author, because an author, I mean, you are an author for sure, but I feel like there's definitely a layer of the onion that qualifies you as a historian, because you think of an author as somebody that writes a novelization, right? That's where my layman brain goes, you know, where when you're spending time and you're spending the research and you're digging deep, that's a little bit more intense. A historian deserves a lot more respect than an author, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, but if I hear
time, you know,
as a historian, I know they've done the work, and it's not just copy paste, but it's a subject matter they really, really enjoy and love, and it's a labor of love. So they will do all the research getting into this and making sure it is 100% correct. And that's the stuff that it drove me crazy, but it was fun. It's like if there was any kind of thought that maybe this is not true, or if I have any kind of doubt that this is not accurate, I can't put it in, because I've always wanted the ultimate Star Wars reference book, and to me that was the ultimate Star Wars reference book.
Yeah. You again, a fan creating a fan product production.
I love fan stuff, because fans will put all the time and effort and work into their stuff because it is a labor of love. They don't have deadlines. They can do whatever, spend as much time as they want. So they're going to get it right.
Yeah.
And they know what they want. They're not, there's some stuff, some merchandise that comes out. It's like, no, who okayed this? I don't even know. As a fan and as a quasi collector, I don't want that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that out there. I mean, right now there is. Speaking about fun, I had a blast at Rebel Scum Con doing the Force Feud. Oddly enough, I was out in the hallway. I thought we were going to come back and play the winners. And Matthew was like down the hallway, and I'm like, Matthew, come back. And so he's like, all right, I'll come back. So we're sitting outside, and then when it came to an end, I'm like, okay, I got somewhere to be. I got to go. And then Matthew went in for the photo. Funny story behind that photo. Now, this was a lot of fun. What is next for you guys? Where is the next time you are going to be doing your fun and games? At what convention? Do you have something planned for Star Wars Celebration?
We get a lot of things planned, but they haven't opened up the applications yet for panels. And I don't know.
I did see Gus. Yeah, Gus Lopez had said, hey, it's not happening yet.
Yeah, maybe September, October. We'll get that. So I don't know. Hoping it's going to soon, because I really want to do this again. I love doing this, and in fact, I've been spending so much time with you and Matthew and the whole gang here in the last couple of days, because I've been editing this game show, and it's almost done. But I'm on my second pass right now. But I've been spending pretty much all day. Go, hey, look, there's Chris, and here's Matthew, and here's everybody else,
and here we are tonight. That's crazy. Yeah, man. And as you know, and I know, man, editing it's a love-hate relationship. It needs to be done. But it's very, very time consuming.
Yeah. And I want to make it nice and tight, and putting in some graphics. So it'll need one more. Yeah. I go through something about 3 times before I release it. First, I'll do like just the slug cut, and then I'll go in there and massage it and cut into close-ups and add graphics. And the third time around, I'll I'll really make sure rhythmically it flows, and Sarah's going to do the graphics for it and put those graphics in.
And people will be able to see the final cut on YouTube as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It'll be on our Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel.
Awesome. And again, the book, where do you guys... I want to send people to the right place to buy the book. I know we've sent them there before, but let's send them there again. You got volume 1 and volume 2. Where is the best place for them to... And this book, too. Hey, show that again.
Yeah.
That one comes out when? Soon.
This one comes out on Life Day.
That's right, Life Day. Yes.
November 17th. Hey, there's Chewy. He's all excited about this. November 17th, 2026. In just a few months, you can get Today in Star Wars History, as well as, and you can pre-order. So you think you know Star Wars, the ultimate trivia book, the 50 years of trivia and fun fact from a galaxy far, far away.
Hey, is that Chewbacca? Is that the Home Depot Chewbacca?
Yes, it is. The Home Depot Chewbacca.
Okay, I got mine in the music room because it's the only ceiling that was high enough to keep him in. The robe, was that from Shop Disney?
Yes, we got ours at Galaxy's Edge.
Okay, because I bought that robe and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna wear it because it's so hot. Now you gave me the idea. You gave me the idea to put that robe on.
Yeah, he loves it. And he's holding his little orb.
That's awesome.
And
I got it. Did you spend a lot of time grooming him too? Because his hair was kind of crazy out of the box.
Yeah. You have to comb him. Whenever I see this out on display somewhere, no one's ever combed him before. But
I don't think they know what to do.
It took us maybe an hour to get his hair all matted and looking good like Chewbacca. His hair is pretty much matted down, except for in Return of the Jedi. He's got more of an 80s, big hair look.
Yeah, that's great.
A lot of time.
That's great. Did you use any hair care product with that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You did. Okay.
Yeah, some hairspray, some gel.
Because I got to comb mine out. I just assembled him and threw him in the room. He looks like he just got out of the box.
Oh, a windstorm.
So yeah, for sure. Well, hey man, thank you again for joining the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Next time I'll see you, it'll probably be in your neck of the woods at Celebration.
Yeah. Get here early. There's the Lucas Museum that's opening up next.
Yes. Yeah.
There's Galaxy's Edge. It's California. We got it all right here.
You could spend at least 2 weeks there.
At least, yeah. At least.
All right, brother. Way, give Sarah my best, and thanks again for joining us on the show tonight.
All right. Once again, she's caught in traffic, or she would be here.
Okay. Yeah, and it's California traffic.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, brother. We'll see. Have a great weekend, man. See you. All right. Without further ado, Josh, thank you for waiting in the green room for as long as you did.
No, thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine, man. Welcome to the show for the first time. I know you've been on the podcast show before, but never on the live show. And for those of you that don't know Josh, he is the guy that does the patch sets, and he creates a scavenger patch hunt. Josh, can you get into the little bit of the deeper meaning behind what was the main purpose for you to do such a really cool community fan-driven event that's been going on for a long time with the patches?
Yeah, no, that's actually a great question. I think a few years ago, it's been a number of years, I have always wanted to create something that is free and fun for people to do at a convention. And I mean that sincerely. It's not about money. It's not about, anything like that. It really is to help people walk away from a convention, whether or not they've purchased anything, but they have a memory, they've had a hunt, they've had something fun to do together. And because I make patches, I think it became a patch hunt. So usually those are like 4-piece sets. And actually I have one, I had it all tuned in here already. For Rebel Scum, this was the one that we did. I don't know if they're in the right order. But I did one off Maul, and we got Maul, we have little Devin, we've got 2 boots, and then we have, what's her name? Mandalorian, the Mando girl, who's Maul's sidekick. Anyway, so yeah, we did all those. And yeah, I think in general, a patch hunt is just visit 4 booths or 8 booths or however many pieces there might be and walk away with some free patches.
Yeah, you know, I remember when I met you down in Tennessee, and I got one of your patch sets here.
Nice.
There. I think I have 4 or 5 of your patch sets now, and you did so many before I was even introduced to you. And I love it too because on the card itself, it tells you like where to go, right? So everybody says Star Wars is a community thing, and it really is, even with this, because you go around to all these booths and you do different things, and there's only one that, you know, says, hey, you know, if you buy a $10 item, you get the patch for free. And I understand that 100%. But there's a lot of really cool, like, interactive things, like the Mando Mercs. I had to, like, track down a Mandalorian on the show floor, and obviously because it was so busy, it was not super easy. It took me a couple days to do that. But it's really, I don't know. I think it's a great idea. It's a wonderful idea. It gets people engaged, like you said. It's fun and it's free. And if people want to buy stuff from you, they can. But I got to be honest with you, man. When I go up to your booth, I do not feel like I need to buy something. I feel like I want to buy something. You know.
Well, I appreciate that. But I'll tell you, at the same time, you know, I've been blessed. I feel as though everything I do with patches and pins, that's just a fun hobby for me. You know, sometimes it generates money, and I make the next patch, you know, and I make the next pin or whatever. But, you know, I've been blessed because I have a full-time job outside of this. I'm actually a middle school principal. I do have a middle school principal. So I like to spend my time with middle schoolers and teach them and help them learn and grow and all that great stuff. So for me, I think when I get to do a convention, and I don't get to do them that often, it's more about just having fun, bringing families together, like you said, and hey, there we are. And, you know, just having fun, having people do trivia, playing games, and giving back. And that's what I think is so great actually about all of the people who you go to the booths to get the patches. They've all fronted this money, right? And so I want to give a shout out to all those people, whether it's the virtual Cantina or it's the Tennessee Club or it was Ashley over at Fangirling for Jesus or Fangirling Over Jesus. Those were our sponsors for this last Rebel ScumCon set. But I mean, a lot of people have sponsored over the years, and they're the ones who are saying, hey, I'll pay for that piece, and I just want to be a part of giving back to the community.
Yeah, it's a wonderful idea, and it just shows again and again and again how many fans give back to the community. And again, that it is a community. You know, what's funny, I'm not going to take all these out, but this box is full of patches.
Nice.
And patches are fun and they're cool, and I have a huge collection without even trying. I am kind of a patch guy by default, and like because I love Star Wars, like Lego is that way, Funko Pops are that way. They just kind of multiply without even seeking them out.
Yes, I like that. That's a good phrase, to multiply. You know, you say to yourself, I'm not going to get any. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to do it. And then all of a sudden you have a whole box. And I do too. And I think that's what I love being a fan. I know that I might have a vendor booth, but I'm always the one that I want to be first in line for the patch trades or the swag hunts and all the different things. So I'm a fan first, and everything else, I guess, comes second.
Well, I think that's what makes it authentic, genuine, and fun. Going back to your history with patches, where did the love of patches start for you? We got to go way back to your childhood, or not that far back?
No, not that far. Star Wars goes back that far. My dad definitely introduced me to all that, and he obviously helps me when I go, you know, to different conventions. Not all of them, but
yeah, I met your dad. Yeah, he's with you. Yes.
So he's the one who's instilled, you know, the love of Star Wars in me. But I think patches, you know, probably like I'm going to say most people in the community, the Star Wars community, I think it started at Star Wars Celebration way back when. And if I have to guess, it was probably I was at Star Wars Celebration 3. That's the first one I was able to attend. I think I just got some free patches at club booths or somewhere. I don't even remember, but I got some. I think patches for me, they are linked to memories, which I think is really cool, where you remember I got that patch from this person or at this booth. And that always, I think, is pretty cool. I would say Star Wars Celebration 3 in Indianapolis. And then what was the next one? I think we went to LA and then Orlando and, on and on. And so I think it grew from there. It wasn't really until I think it was 2019, I think maybe before that, 2019, when I started to make my own patches, and kind of, I need to make this one and I want to make this next one. So I think it's been since 2019 when I actually became more of a maker of them.
Now, you also do the pins too, correct?
Yeah, so that's a few years old. I had a random idea, and I know lots of people like some of the different pins, and I'm looking around. What do I have around here? But a few years ago, I had a crazy idea that because I like the Wampa and I like Chewbacca, and they're kind of very similar in my view of what they kind of look like, even though maybe different sizes, but they look similar when I draw them. So I decided to make Wampa World. And Wampa World, they were a series of pins that were Wampas as if they were other characters, so Wampa as Chewbacca, Wampa as Darth Maul, or maybe I'm saying that opposite, but Darth Maul as a Wampa. And so that was my first set. I made a set. I took it to a convention. They totally sold out. I totally probably underproduced those. And I think that was the start of Wampa World. And then I think I did Droid World and Jawa World. And now I've done Trooper World, I think 4 times, because Stormtroopers are just so incredibly fun to, I don't know. I think the body is such a great kind of base, to put other characters on. See, I have some, let me find some of these here.
Did you say that you design all your patches and all your pins too yourself?
Yeah. So that's all my artwork. Kind of just on the side, that's more of a side gig that I think I more discovered and I've been growing in. I did not grow up an artist. I did not grow up, doing anything with art except for making stick figures. So I would say in the last decade, I just started messing around and playing, and, through trial and error, you start realizing, I think I can actually draw that. And so actually I have a couple. Let me find, here's what I made. Actually, let's first start this. Here we go. So I made these for Rebel Scum Con, just some fun little patches of some of my new logos. I love droids. I gave them some different faces, different colors, pretty basic, but just something fun to do. I did those. Did you get those, by the way? You should have gotten at least one.
I got one. You know what's funny? I got 2 of the same. So
no.
I think the one in your right hand, the blue droid, I got 2 of those.
Okay. Well, then you got to get a pink one, and I'll make sure you get it.
I got to trade one in for the pink one for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So the pins over the last year, I think it was a year. Was it a year ago? Maybe 2 years ago. I started teaming up with Stephen Moore. Do you guys know Stephen Moore? He's a great artist. He was at Rebel Scum Con.
Yeah, I do know Steve.
And he and I teamed up because, one, I love his art. Shout out to him. He is one of my favorite artists. I'm not just saying that. But we've become friends. He does all the checklists for Celebration, for all their Celebration pins. And so he and I just started sending pictures back and forth of some of my Stormtroopers and my different characters. And then he took a shot at, drawing one, and we would just laugh back and forth. And there's a lot of rejects too that do not work. So that's kind of where these all came from. So, let me throw a couple out here. So we've got Poe. They're in a bag. So there's Poe as a Stormtrooper as the First Order.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Here's one of the Stranger. There's a Stranger. Here's Logray as a Stormtrooper. So all those were from this previous set that I just did here a couple weeks ago at Rebel Scum Con. And we've kind of turned that into kind of a hunt as well.
Yes, yes.
And some of them come in blind bags.
For a couple years too, right? The hunt for the pins, right?
Yes, yeah. So I've been doing that for a few years too. And so again, I always try to. I do want to incorporate somehow giving back, right, and giving what I can for free. So while the pins, obviously they're expensive, and you got to buy, they're $10 each, or they're in blind bags
Sure.
For $17 for two. So I mean that can add up. But I always like to, if people, if they put the whole entire set together, they actually got a secret pin. So I always do that if you put the whole set together, you get a secret pin that's not on the checklist. This past Rebel Scum Con, it was this clone trooper, kind of the original blue clone trooper there. Last year, the secret pin was a George Lucas trooper. It was a George trooper. I don't have one here to show. But I always like to give away a free pin, make sure kids get free pins. I think it's just fun. It's fun to give away stuff when I can.
Yeah, and I know you're really good. Like you said, you're a principal in elementary school. You're really good with the kids. It was funny. There was a girl that was in front of me at your booth, and I'm good with kids too. That's a disclaimer, because this girl was in front of me, and she spun. I can't remember if it was you or your dad. He was like, okay, go ahead. And then she spun like 30 times to get the last pad. I'm like, I'm going to come back.
Yes,
I'm going to work for my pad.
I'm remembering that, yes, because it's so hard. It's so hard when someone, they're trying to get like a patch, and I want to give it to her for free, but I also want people to win it. It feels better to win it.
Yeah, she's got to keep.
I'm like, nope, keep spinning. You do not have. Yes, keep spinning, keep spinning. And she did finally. She finally got the amount that she needed. So, yeah.
Well, it was funny that producer Matthew sat in at the Tennessee table, and producer Cody Moore. I know he is a big fan of your pins and has a couple of your pin sets, if my memory serves me well. Now, you did say that you do like the stories of the patches when people trade. One of the things that I really like, and I didn't really think about this until you said the story behind the patch, how you got it, where you got it from. I noticed that these swag trades at these smaller conventions, like Rebel Scum Con, the same people are going to these conventions. So the way that I've gotten to know these new friends of mine have been trading stuff. I feel like friendships are made over these fabric patches.
It's 100%, and that's, I think you hit it perfectly. That at the end of the day, is it about a patch? No, to me, it's about relationship, right? Yeah. It's about that I get to see you, right? I get to see Matthew. I get to see all these other guys that travel around the country. Not, it's not like we do this every weekend, but if I can do it once a year, or I can do it twice a year, that would be fantastic. And it's about reconnecting. Like, I may not have seen you for 6 months, a year, but then all of a sudden we pick up right where we left off, right? Talking about something, laughing about whatever. And at the end of the day, like the box that you showed of all the patches, for me, it's a box of memories where you can go through and you can be like, oh my goodness, I forgot that I got that one, or I forgot this or that. I think it's about stories.
And then you could trade those away too, right?
Yeah.
Since it is the Rebel Scum wrap-up show, I need to ask you, since you've been going to Celebration, you said 3 was your first one. This convention, to me, reminds me of Celebration 2 and 3. Do you have plans to go to Celebration in April next year?
Yeah. So, one, I will agree with you. I think Rebel Scum Con is a microcosm of Celebration, and I think even more, I might say Celebration is the manifestation of really the fandom, right? Celebration is nothing without whatever 50,000, 100,000 people showing up and doing what we love, which is connecting, collecting, having community with each other, and more so trading patches, going to panels, having fun, whatever. So I think Rebel Scum Con is a piece of that. I am coming to Celebration. I have tickets, so Thank the Lord for that. I know a lot of people have struggled getting those. I still think
Yeah,
that I think those tickets are going to get into the hands of who they need to get into.
Sure.
You know, as the months, you know, go on. I was able to get tickets. I'm hoping that the Tennessee Star Wars Club, which I'm a part of, I hope that we get a club table. We've applied. Our leadership team has applied. I don't think we hear until October, November, but we've applied. So we're hoping to be a part of that as a club. But as an individual, I'll go even if we don't get, you know, to be there as a club. So yeah, but I'm not going to set up. I'm not doing like my vendor world there. Of course, I am making I'm really excited about the patch set that I'm making. Maybe
you made a patch set?
Yes. So I finished the artwork for that.
Okay.
They're individual patches, but I mean, you know, it's 6 or 7 actual that kind of go together.
Oh, so it's even bigger than what you've done before, because usually it's a 4-piece set, right?
Yes, a totally different style. You know, we took my younger daughter to Europe this summer. My wife and I did, and I was walking around Florence, Italy, Renaissance. I love history. I was a history teacher for a long time, and I had some ideas of how I can bring the Renaissance into Star Wars, and so that's all I'll say. But I'm kind of playing around with some ideas for some cool Star Wars patches.
Excited, man. I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to see you as well at Celebration. My fear is, though, going to these smaller conventions like Rebel Scum Con, my fear is going to Celebration and wishing that I was at Rebel Scum Con.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just so big, man. It's gotten to the point where going to Nashville, going to Rebel Scum has been like a wonderful, warm and fuzzy trip back in time to when Star Wars fandom was a little bit more chill and a little bit more, I don't want to say manageable, but I mean, you know, because you've been there for a long time too, and you're a big part of these smaller conventions. It's really two different animals, you know?
It is. I think that, well, one, I'll say again, I think you said it well, that some of the smaller conventions, and when we say small, we're not talking that small, right? But I mean, they're not Celebration, right? You're not getting 100,000 or whatever. You know, I would say this. I think that my hope for Celebration is that because of the relationships that I've built, you've built, the community has built, I hope it can become, you know, smaller in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and actually,
sure.
I'm, you know, I feel like well, anyway, I'm thinking of things that we say to my own students and families at school, which are, even though we're a big school, we're a big middle school, we also want to be a small neighborhood school. And that's about relationships, right? It's, do our kids get to know the teachers? Do the kids get to know the administration, you know, whatever. And I hope that's what Celebration will be for a lot of people through swag and patch trading and pins and through panels and through the collecting tracks and all that stuff.
Relationships relationships that were formed over the last handful of years. People meeting up. You know, it's funny. You can meet up. You have a tribe in the city, right? So you have like, you know, a handful of us that have been doing the patch swag thing at the smaller conventions, and then we're meeting up and we're kind of connecting in this big environment. But it's still going to bring us together, no matter what kind of environment it is, no matter how big it is, you know?
It's true.
It's going to be fun, and I think it's super important that it's happening, especially for the 50th anniversary of Star Wars.
Yes.
I mean, if it wasn't happening, something would be wrong, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, just think about that for a second. 50 years? Like, one, I feel old. It dates me, and I feel old. But my goodness, is there anything else besides Mickey Mouse himself, you know what I mean? Or, you know, that has really had the long-lasting impact that Star Wars. You know, I know that people talk about, I don't know, like the state of Star Wars and the state of the movies or the franchise or whatever. And I think it's alive and well. It's different. There's no doubt. You know what I mean? I think it's different. But I think the franchise is alive and well and kicking. And I mean, I love seeing kids at the convention simply because we know it's the next generation. So, yeah, it may not have the big blockbuster that I think maybe Disney and fans have wanted in the last 10 years, but
Sure.
I think it's surviving absolutely well, and I think it's surviving on the backs of the Mandalorian. Let me throw that in there.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think you make a good point. It's different, but for something that's 50 years old, it can't be the same. You know what I mean? It's
it
gotta
can't.
be.
And my daughter,
natural.
who just went off to college, she loves the prequels. And I know our generation at times, right? We dogged them at times when they came out, and some people are like, "Oh, we don't like this or that." She loves the prequels. Do you know what I mean? And
she always loved the prequels.
And I'm going to go on record right now, and I'm going to say one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Here we go. I'm going to look at the camera. One of my favorite Star Wars movies, probably top 3. You ready for this? Top 3 of all of Star Wars: Force Awakens. I might take heat for it, but I'm going to say it. Some people don't like, the sequels as much. I love The Force Awakens. Absolutely love it.
I will say amen to that. It's not in my top 3, but I never dogged on it. And it's so crazy to hear. I'm like, when I sit in a movie theater during the sequels, and unfortunately that was a while ago, it seems like yesterday, but I am like, I cannot believe that I am in a theater watching new Star Wars movies. Like, to me, that was magic enough. I didn't need anything else.
Hey, you want another confession? Another confession that I just remembered. So I was in college when the re-release of the special editions, right, came out of Star Wars. And I remember my classes ended at like noon. I went to the very first showing that was down the road from my college. And I remember literally tears coming down my eyes and crying when the big, screen and the music came on and the scroll started, because it meant something. I had never seen it in the theater. I was too young, right? When I was born, a couple years after Star Wars itself came out. And so I had never truly remembered sitting in the theater, but it had been such a big part of my life that I remember sitting there and tears came down. Not because I was like sad. I was just so happy. I was like, I'm getting the experience that I've always wanted.
Yeah, no, and you know what? Nobody's ever said that before, but it makes 101% sense. To see Star Wars in the theater, like you said, a lot of I was like, when Star Wars came out, I was 2 years old. I remember seeing that on a re-release in the theater. I remember seeing Empire Strikes Back, but I was young. But to see it again, to get it again, to get it again. And there were some things. I still think the end of Return of the Jedi and the special editions was done so beautifully. It's very, very hard to say that was not like one of the best moments of the special editions.
Yeah, agreed. I think that was, yes. And
the music was just more fitting. As much as I love Yub Nub, there was something that was just so.
It was a celebration.
Yeah, full circle about that music. So, Hey, Josh, thank you so much for sharing some stories, some confessions. If people want to buy your patches or buy your pins and they don't want to wait to the next convention, where can we send people to do this?
Yeah, well, I am on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Star Wars Joshua. So super easy to find. I do have a website. It's called thescavengersguild.com, but you can just find it through Star Wars Joshua, or message me. Message me. I'll send you something. As a matter of fact, who's hearing this? If you message me in the next literally a couple of minutes, like 2 minutes, send me a message. I will send you something free. Promise. Right now. 2 minutes. You got it.
You got 2 minutes to do that because the replay is not going to count.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Hey, Josh, again, man, thank you for making things fun at the conventions, and thanks for sharing your stories, man. I look forward to seeing you soon.
You too. And, thank you so much. See you guys.
And if you guys do a Christmas patch, a new one for the Tennessee Collectors Club, please let me know. I would love to make a contribution like I did last year.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care, buddy. Good. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. All right, man. You guys got bonus time. Thank you to producer Matthew Rooney here for lining this up. We are over our time, so you are getting extra bonus time for the month of August. There's a couple things that I want to mention because by the time we do the next show in September, it's going to be a little irrelevant. We are turning 20 years old, production-wise. There you go. You got your poster finally after all these
I got
years.
the autographed with both autographs. Wait, I have you on here and then
My
Courtney.
sister. And you know what's funny? My sister signed that. God, she signed that probably back in 2008.
All right.
I had a stack of them with her. I only have like 4 left now with her signature on it. But The Force Among Us turns 20. We were contemplating after talking to our friends from Fantha Tracks, should we continue with the fans in The Force Among Us 3 like we've already started, or should we spend a lot of money and do a on-location film location documentary? I don't know. I got to keep focused. I do want to remind people that Rishi Mays is playing tomorrow night. This is one of our last 3 shows of the year. And I do want to tell people that I'm going to take a break after October from playing music, gigging out live anyway, because I want to focus on the documentary. So I feel like that is why I wanted to share that with you guys. A little documentary talk, little anniversary. I can't remember the production date. It was very close to the end of August. We're coming up close. It's August 21st. Matthew, what was your takeaway from Rebel Scum Con this year? Again, thank you for helping me record those interviews, man. It made a big difference. It really did.
Yeah, I had a great time. I feel like I've gotten a lot better at doing like some of the, extra interviews. Like I was thinking about the first ones that I did, when we first started doing shows together 4 or 5 years ago. And I was super nervous and like, didn't know what to ask. But now we've done so many of them. We've got dozens, if not, over 100 interviews. I feel much more comfortable doing it. So that was fun. And then I also had a great time. I got to help with the Tennessee table, just because some of the regular people who usually run it weren't there, and so we all kind of took shifts. But then I kind of used it as I have like a leg issue, and so whenever my leg was hurting, I would just go sit at the table with Matt and help him with the table, and so that way he could go off and get his autographs and do other things. And so I did give some.
You were taking a productive break.
yeah. But I love, because I'm a public archaeologist, and so I love doing educational programs with kids, and so I was happy to like get the kids to take all those books that we had for them, as donations, and then when there were kids who really wanted the patch, I kind of like let them do a couple extra tosses, like we talked about earlier, just because I really wanted them to have it before they left. So it was really fun to do that, and I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with the Tennessee Club in the future.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very important thing that you mentioned. The Tennessee Club that Josh was part of, they do give away the books for free to the kids, and there's some really, really great books there. And they also do the thing with Dolly Parton's organization too.
Yeah, the patch hunt, like we had one of the patches at the Tennessee table, and then we also had the Tennessee like club patches too that you can get through the Facebook group every year. Maybe it's not every year, but anyway, we had those, and so it was $10 donation to the Dolly Club, the Dolly Parton foundation or whatever it's called for the Imagination Library.
Yeah,
but then also we had a table of just books that were for the kids, and so like sometimes when I'm at thrift stores and I see Star Wars books, I'll get them if they're really cheap, and then I'll bring them if the Tennessee Club's going to be there, and then I just add them to the table, and then anybody who has kids can come up and get a book for the kids for free, which is nice. And
again, giving back to the community, like Josh was saying. Give it back to the community. It's so important. It's going to be different. It's celebration. But like we talked about just a couple minutes ago, it's going to be one of those things where, it's going to be the small group of people coming together. Now, Matthew, you are not going to Celebration. Is that correct?
Probably not. It's in April. It's just not a great time of year for me. There's so many academic conferences that I have to go to. So probably not, but I'll probably be at Rebel Scum Con next year with you again.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see what happens.
as soon as Rebel Scum Con ended, I'm like, you know what? I can't wait to go back. So again, guys, I think you got 30 seconds left to send Joshua a message for some free swag. I want to thank all my guests for being on the show tonight, man. Joshua, Star Wars Joshua, Matt and Mark from across the pond, Fantha Tracks, and our good friend Richard from Skywalking Through Neverland, who is a big inspiration to me for just keeping the fun going with the content. And I know, this show started 6 years ago, Machtails from the Cantina, and I feel like we need to bring the fun back. We've got our serious hats on now that we're, in documentary mode, but, we're going to rewind the clock and get back to where we once were. Matthew, again, thank you for the idea of doing this Rebel Scum wrap-up show. For me, the takeaway, you guys got to listen to Patreon podcast for free. That QR code. I share all my thoughts. There's a lot of content from there with all the celebrities that we are going to release. So please, please, please tune in for all that is behind the free paid wall. Matthew, again, thank you so much, man. Thank you for tuning in. Before I let you guys go, you guys know you got to tune in live. We went over 21 minutes. We're going to do this like baseball. 3 strikes, and it's over. This is going to be Rune Marquant. I just talked to Rune today. He's a newer Patreon member. He is going to get his Machtails from the Cantina swag pack. That's what you get when you support the show for 3 months or more. Is Cody Moore still tuned in? Cody, are you still tuned in? I know you were here earlier. Producer Cody Moore. Hey, thanks for being on Fantha Tracks. We appreciate you guys so much, especially all your stories that are so far away from us. Unfortunately, I got to get back over to the UK. Cody is not tuned in. He tuned out. And, it's producer night. Andy from Miami. He's busy with the move and the new addition to the family. I also want to thank producer Brian Klein for tuning in and all the producers. God, if the drinking word of the night was producers, we would be in trouble for tomorrow morning. So, hey, I'm your show host, Cris Macht. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support, and we will catch you guys next time on another episode of Machtails from the Cantina Live. So long, everybody.